Hey folks, what's going on? Welcome to the next episode in our Coach Gav podcast series. Sometimes you just need to stop what you're doing in terms of trying to kind of make a change or even start doing something new or something different. Stopping is the ideal way to do it. I was trying to attach my mic and a connector as I was driving. Maybe. So I was trying to do, and I just kept making it worse. The mic dropped down the seat and everything. I said, all right, just stop what you're doing. I like this even. Just stop what you're doing, catch your breath, and then go about your business of trying to do something else. And for so many of us, and so often, especially as parents, but also even as kind of like adults, as we navigate and negotiate our way through the world today, it's very easy to get wrapped up and caught up in the hustle and bustle of everything. And a lot of, you're getting caught up in everything, but also at the same time getting caught up in nothing at all, nothing of substance. And I went down a small rabbit hole on Instagram the other day in terms of people talking about the topic of burnout. And just like everything else, and just like everything else that has been and everything else that is yet to come, burnout wasn't a thing for years. And then someone identified it as being a thing, So burnout means that when we push ourselves to the point of exhaustion and you just keep banging against a wall and you're like, okay, you need to stop. It's like basically if I floored the accelerator here without changing gears, I'm gonna burn out the accelerator pad or whatever it is. But you get the idea. I'm gonna keep pushing against it so much, it's just gonna cause a problem. So burnout was very much a thing, and then it became the thing. But I suppose burnout and burnout awareness was on the scene before kind of mental health awareness came around. And burnout became quite a popular, trendy thing. Jobs and sorry, the bounce is annoying the bejesus out of me. So jobs and don't burn yourself out, don't overdo it, and so on and so forth, and as well with it. And now it's gotten to the stage of 2025 where people are like, burnout's not real, burnout's not a thing. You're like, oh Jesus, here we go. Like it's again of like the circle, kind of it's this and then it's this and then it's this and it's this. Oh, and then it's back to here again. But anyways, I went down the rabbit hole and I came across a video where people are more so burnt out from doing too little of the things that matter. So it's not that, it's not that people are doing too much. It's that we're doing too little of the things that matter. And therein lies a big issue. And also with every big issue lies a big opportunity for growth, change, evolution, improvement. And that's kind of it, because life gets real busy as parents and as adults. And we work 40 hours a week in jobs. And we commute 8 to 10 hours a week in some cases, maybe more. And all of a sudden that 187, 185, 20 by 7 is 140, 188. What? Yeah, 188 hours in a week. So very quickly, the actual hours we have to ourselves are quite low. Now, we all have to work. Bills need paying, roofs need to be kept over heads, food put on tables, all that good stuff. However, there is a very definite point and a very fine yet clear line in the sand where, you have to keep work in perspective. And that's something I have struggled with a lot, in terms of not doing more than I need to, but yet still wanting to, set a good standard, and, kind of represent myself well and also work well. I do like to be challenged, um, and try and kind of progress career wise and everything else. But when your work starts to, depending on the position you work in and your requirements and your responsibilities with it, um, there is a level of, okay, kind of, you have to be kind of contactable sometimes outside of work hours, and that's fine. Now, I have a family member who is quite high up in management in a retail chain, and sometimes there is a need for, obviously they're not in the shop 24/7, so that's not realistic. And I have also worked in said retail chain prior, and yeah, sorry, that junction there. If you're ever driving from Naas to Newbridge and you come across off that second roundabout, that little junction there makes no sense whatsoever. The way they crisscross it, but anyways, it's this family member in a very high position in there, and a lot goes on in the store. It's a very big store, very big chain, and a lot happens. And every so often there's a need to be contacted outside of hours. But to minimize that, there is systems and structures in place where it gets to all those other people or goes through all those other levels before it gets to the stage of having to contact them outside of it. Now again, stay with me here, the analogy is going to make sense. So for us, again, and even where I currently work, there's 5 of us as duty managers. So when I'm off, like today, whoever is on duty will tackle the issues my department may or may not cause, and therefore save the need for me being contacted. Now, if it's something a little bit time sensitive or a little bit urgent, yeah, then there might be a need of, hey, look, I know you're off, quick call, just wanna da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, cool, grand, that's fine. Irregardless of what you work at, irregardless of, and even when I go back to when I was self-employed, when I had the gym, and I remember, well, Frey was very young at the time, she said to my partner at the time, why is daddy always on the phone? And I can tell you exactly where I was sitting, exactly where we were, when it happened. And I was like, oh fuck. And I had spent so long back then justifying it because I was self-employed and I was trying to get the gym up and running and I was starting a business and I was all these different things. And even now, as I get back into building up this new coaching program, this new plan, the book, the workshops, the podcast, all those things, I'm doing it without it costing anything for my family. Where that's why a lot of it is in the car. I can do it as I travel, so that I'm not at home. No, sorry kids, I gotta film a podcast. I gotta do this. I gotta that. And again, hopefully, that in itself shows that it is possible for us to have a divide between what we're required to do at work and, everything else, and our family. Because, we're at that time of year, winter, Christmas, festive season, and it is very hustle and bustle. Myself and the wife were trying to plan different things, and we're already like, right, well, that weekend's out because I'm working, that weekend's out because you're working, that weekend's out because it's a birthday, and so on. And you're like, oh, Jesus. So our actual time to do Christmassy bits narrow down. During the week is out of the question. The kids are in school, and you're not going to start going anywhere late at night, or after the school day finishes. You get caught in all of the traffic. So every so often, it's fine for there to be an overlap in the different elements of your life, your work life, your social life, your family life, your sporting life, all those things. That's natural, that's fine. It would be unreasonable and unrealistic of us to be like, nope, as soon as I leave, it stops. Because then the reverse also has to happen, that when you go to work or when you go to other things, that other stuff don't interfere there either as well. Of course, the roadworks in Newbridge, what a shock. Should have bet on that. But again, it's all to a point. Is it? And sometimes we are just we're momentarily stuck. And what I mean by that is we got to just stay as we are, either occupationally, mentally, physically, emotionally, because growth, evolution, change, not quite an option just yet. This is a chronic amount of roadworks to be doing in the middle of November on the only entranceway into Newbridge. Jeez Louise. You'd have to wonder sometimes about the decision making of the county council. And then coming back to us, you'd have to wonder sometimes about our own decision making as parents, as adults. And I go like, really? Is that the best option for it? So I think one of the best things that have come out of COVID, and we'll start to neatly tie all these topics together here, is I think it has helped put a greater emphasis on the interpersonal, the things that are real, the things that are tangible, spending time with people in real life, spending time with people that matter. I think it was a bit of a wake-up call to how quickly and easily things can go and change. And it was a wake-up call for us to try and make more of an effort to hold on to and cherish and to grow the relationships that matter, and to, just as importantly, to bin off and to get rid of, minimize the relationships that don't matter, rather than pushing and straining and fighting and all these things to kind of, again, someone very close to me, they give too much of themselves, in my opinion, too much of themselves to things that don't really matter as much as they should, which in turn then is wearing them out, which in turn then is burning them out. See, we've tied it all together nice and neatly. But it's, there's only so much of us to go around. We need to spend more time investing and doing the things that matter, the things that will benefit us, the things that will help us grow and evolve, the people that will help us grow and evolve, and you know, just just give everything the appropriate amount of time. Like, again, give your work or your no, give your. I see a funeral coming in the opposite direction here, and if I don't get round this, although it could be worse, I'm stuck in traffic. Whoever's coming out here has lost a loved one, so a bit of perspective probably could do me no harm. But give everything the right amount of time. Don't underdo it. Just try and strike balance, okay? Because by having that balance, it allows us to lean more. Even like with schooling and college, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to be all consumed by it. So, and this is how it kind of can reach back to our kids as well, where you want to give them a respective level of okay, that's appropriate, that's that's enough, that's not enough, that's too much, that's too little. There needs to be balance with it, because if they don't, again, they too will get burnt out. They will end up doing far too much of the stuff that they don't want to or need to be doing as they go. Where is that person parking? Stellar driving, as always. So yeah, sorry, bit of a ramble towards the end there. Just trying to keep everything in perspective as you go about it. And if you sorry, excuse me, if you're feeling burnt out, run down, exhausted, exasperated, it is more likely than not the issue is that not that you're doing too much, but you're not doing enough of the things that truly matter, even though it's taking me 17 minutes to get there. Cheers.